Yumna Zaidi, thank you so much for joining me today. Firstly, how are you?
Thank you so much. I'm good. How are you, Haroon?
I'm really well, thank you. And as I've
Thank you.
mentioned, I, as
Thank you
I've,
so much for having me in your show. And I really like the way you conduct your interviews. And I was so happy to see your message that we'll chat together about our work, about my work.
Absolutely. As I said to you before we began, I was hoping that the situation would become a bit better, that I would be able to meet you in person. We could maybe meet in Karachi, where you do most of your filming, where
How hardly do you visit to Pakistan?
once a year, usually once a year. And
Or-
what normally happens, Yumna, I'll tell you exactly what happens. What normally happens is I have to be very honest and say I am no expert in Pakistani dramas, but I am good at recognizing talented people. And so I watch out for all the people who have really made an impression over the past year. And a few weeks before I plan to travel to Pakistan, I reach out to them and say, can we try and do something while I'm in town? And your name would have been top of that list this year because I'm so impressed with Mahjabeen and Pyar Ke Sadqay.
Thank you so much. Have you ever watched my work before, like before Mahjabeen, or no?
No, I haven't. And this is why, I am
Oh,
guilty because I know you've done so many great dramas prior to this as well. Dar Se Jati Hai Sila won countless awards as well. I know Inkar was very popular, Pukar was very popular.
but
I'm
I am so glad, Haroon, that we'll talk about Mahjabeen, we'll talk about Pyar Ke Sadqay, because I believe that it's one of the most beautiful character I've ever done, Mahjabeen especially. And I really feel proud the amount of love and appreciation I've received.
Tell me about the kind of reaction you've received to Pyar Ke Sadqay and to Mahjabeen specifically.
Okay, so when actually I got the script, I was so excited. I was really looking forward to do it, and unfortunately, the producer she was unable to, Momal Bhabi, she was unable to finalize the main lead cast hero, and even the director was not finalized. And I was waiting for it to start, because when I came to do in car, like 1.5 year back, then we were supposed to start it, and we could not, because Bilal was not, he was not getting ready for. I think he was, maybe he must be busy. But finally, when we started, I was actually quite scared, because wearing a school uniform and um, performing a character with two braids were quite, quite challenging for me, quite a task for me. But I was always excited to do Mahjabeen. I wanted to explore me as an actor in that way as well. And the amount of appreciation and the love I've got was just so good, was so actually I was unable to handle now. Even now, I receive so many beautiful messages all over the globe. And yeah, so it's been a great journey from shooting till now.
You've said, and we all know that you've done many dramas before Pyar Ke Sadqay as well. But what was it in the script of Pyar Ke Sadqay that was so unique or so different that you realized that this drama would offer you something that you'd never done before?
Haroon, honestly speaking, it was a complete experiment. Mahjabeen was not like a regular heroine, or a girl with a beautiful hair, and the way she walks. It's all so odd. She's an odd cat. She was an odd character, and for me it was a huge experiment. And I like to take challenges in my career and in my life as well, my personal life. So I opted it, and I always want, and I was so lucky. I feel so thankful, and that the producer, she selected me for this script, and the director agreed to it. And yeah, so I always want to try something different, and Mahjabeen, I think, is the most unique character I've ever done.
You know what's fantastic is that actually the response you got after the first and second episode was not 100% positive. I watched some reviews where some critics accused you of overacting in the first couple of episodes.
Yes, because I think it was unusual. It was not a usual character, and but I believed in that character. I loved doing it, and I would like to give the entire credit to the writer. The way she has weaved the character, the dialogues are so fascinating. I used to, I used to read the dialogues, and I used to laugh a lot, enjoy them, and then the way the director has executed it was excellent.
I'm going to talk about all the positives of the show in a moment, but I want to ask you, like you said, Pyar Ke Sadqay was an experiment. So when the first couple of episodes aired and the response to your performance in particular was mixed, let's be honest, it was mixed to begin with. Were you a bit disheartened at that point? Were you worried about whether the show would go according to how you had planned?
Actually, I was, my fingers were crossed, and I was not expecting too much from the script because it was a light comedy and romance. It was unusual. It was an experiment. So I did not expect too much from this character and this serial. I was so scared when the first episode was about to air. I wanted to hide myself somewhere because. Because even in this in this point of my career, wearing a uniform with two braids was quite unusual, and I was actually ready for, not for the positive response, I was ready for the trollings, for the bashing, because I know how our social media works and how people take different things. Either they just love it and they take it to the seventh sky, and or they just hate it to the most. So I was actually ready for the worst, but
Because
I was expecting, yeah, I was expecting good because I did it with my heart, with my soul, and actually I enjoy doing it a lot. So I had this clue that it won't go that bad, but I was not expecting too much from this character and the serial.
So I remember tweeting you and I messaged you on Instagram when I binged watched the first 12 episodes in one sitting. Literally, I spent one whole evening, I think from about 6 p.m. till about 3, 4 a.m. watching the first 12 episodes. And I was absolutely hooked and I was mesmerized by your performance, Bilal's performance, your chemistry together as well as Abdullah and Mahjabeen. There was something so innocent and dreamlike and fairy tale like, and there was this almost this element of like a Disney fairy tale that I felt I saw in Abdullah and Majabeen's romance. I want to talk about that first because let's go by the show and let's go through the show phase by phase, because the first 12 episodes establish your character and they also establish the romance between these two characters. How did you characterize Marjabeen? What was your thought process in showing the certain quirks she has, her behavior, the way her hand movements, her body language are so, I've never seen anything like that on Pakistani TV before. So how did you get to the Marjabeen that we see now?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the praises and appreciation. But I would like to add one thing to it, that I was actually very excited to do this project. I initially I read first 5 episodes and I was sold. I was like, okay, I just want, because we have so many other actresses, very good talent in the industry, and I was like, no, I want to do this. And it was actually, and the moment we were about to start, I lost my father a month ago.
Oh, I'm
And
so sorry to hear that.
yeah, and I was, Haroon, I was in a state of a strong grief and pain, and I was not even thinking about this character, and I did not know that how to assemble myself and how to compose myself. And right after that, I had to do this character of Mahjabeen, and she has to look witty, she has to do something stupid so that people can laugh at. And I was actually quite nervous while when I was on the set for the first time. And I don't know, Haroon, I think the talent I have is all given to me by God, and I just don't think too much on the characters I do. I just do the basic things, and I must say that the director was the great support, and my co-actors were just so good. and this all helped me to perform Mahjabeen in a way that people can love her and people can praise her work. And even I loved Mahjabeen a lot because I felt her her shyness, her stupid things, her cute little beautiful things. So thoroughly
How,
I
how, how,
enjoyed the entire journey.
how much of that was on the script already, and how much did you improvise on set, especially with, as you mentioned, her little childlike behavior? Essentially, she's a grown woman, but her mind is still that of an innocent young child.
Yeah, actually we improvised a lot, but it was all added by our director.
Right.
It was all added by director. And I must say, I've done so many scripts, Haroon, and I must say that Zanjabil has written it so beautifully. Like we I used to laugh at at the dialogues and at the situations, so it all helped me to perform it so well that people could love it.
You know, that's your characterization and your performance, but there's so many different aspects of the show that are praiseworthy. For example, your relationship with your parents is really interesting because you are a very good, well-behaved child in some respects, as in if your mum and dad tell you to do something, you will. But actually for the first 10 episodes, you're trying to get out of exams. You're also considered to be a liar by your family, which in later episodes has worked against you. It's a very layered script, isn't it? How often do you come across a script with that many kind of sub layers and subplots?
I hardly. That's why I've just mentioned it before that the moment I read the script, I was like, no, I want to do this because we hardly get such scripts. Because there are very, for dramas, we have very less subjects and we have very less margin to perform or to, break dif- the typical stereotype things. So we hardly get such scripts. So yeah, I was
You know
I was
how
sold when I just read it.
I told you about my interpretation of the drama, particularly in the first few episodes, like, this fairy tale romance. Did you see it in the same way? I'm very curious about
No, I did
no.
not, Har. No, I did not, because I all my life I've lived, like I was born and raised in Pakistan, and I'm not from Lahore and from Karachi, not from big cities. I am from a very small city, Arifala and Sahiwal. These are small districts in Punjab. So I have seen so many such characters around me, and it happens. But of course, for television, they always make it something larger than life and something out of the box things. So yeah, they have added things to it, but I just don't see it that way, that if it's like a fairy tale. Or yes, a poor girl getting married to a rich guy is a fairy tale thing, but otherwise her character, her way of perceiving things, her vision was was not quite normal and usual. But I've seen people like that
you
in
know
my life.
some of my favorite few episodes, and again, we're talking first half of the drama at this point. Some of my favorite episodes is the firstly when you are rejected by your fiance, and then Abdullah, on the spot decides to commit to marriage with you, which is one of the best episodes I've seen in any Pakistani drama
Yeah, that was
ever.
so adorable, the entire scene. Even we loved it. Like, I enjoyed it a lot
And
doing it.
the tension in that room, because it's so beautifully constructed, where you're sitting on the ladder going up to the upstairs area, and then Abdullah is just standing there and is lost in thought, but there's a tear trickling down your face, and it's so beautifully put together. I have to ask you this. I know that a drama set is not like that. I know that on a drama set there are dozens of people doing lots of different things. How
Yeah.
do you get into that zone and that emotion when there's so much noise around you, there's so much else going on? How do you forget that the rest of the world exists and it's just you and Abdullah at that point?
Yes, that scene was like that, and there were so many people in front of the camera and behind the camera. But once, when I started working, Haroon, I worked with Sabah Hamid, and once she told me, I remember when I was doing Thakan, that was my first serial, and I was forgetting line. again and again, my dialogues again and again. And I was so, at that point of time, I was getting so nervous, and I was feeling that, oh my God, they're going to kick me out from the set. And at that point of time, she told me that, Yumna, just assume yourself that you are in a box, nobody could see you, and it's just you, and you have to perform, and they are going to watch you on this box of television. So I remember that thing, and I always kept that advice with me. And I know doing that kind of scene, the romantic scene, or any kind of scene in which you just have to be yourself and you have to focus hard on the character, on the lines and the dialogues. So I always kept that advice with me. So I just don't care about people. I'm in real life, I am quite introvert. I just don't talk on set. I don't make friends. I hardly have a social circle, Haroon. But I know I love my work, and I'm just so focused that I just don't care about anybody looking at me, or observing me. I just don't look at them and just perform. I just want to be a good performer. I've learned a lot in my entire journey of acting.
So that was one episode that really stood out for me, and your performance in that was excellent, and so was Bilal's as well, and everybody else in that scene. The following episode is another one that really stands out for me, which is where you go and demand all your money back from your ex-fiance, where I thought you just lit up the screen, because for the first time in the drama, we had seen a side to Mahjabeen that we hadn't seen so far. Up until now, yes, she was this very innocent, she was this very kind of bholi bhali si girl, but this is the first time we saw a feisty side to Mahjabeen, where she knew her worth. She demanded her worth from her ex-fiance. I actually think that one of my issues with the drama, because we have to talk about the issues as well, is that I am not sure what Mahjabeen stands for. Is she an innocent, childlike girl, or is she a feisty feminist, almost who knows her worth, who knows what her own self-worth is? How did you make that decision as the person portraying that character?
Okay, Mahjabeen is apparently she looks naive, she looks stupid, that bholi bhali ladki, but uh, she's a very strong girl. Her brought up, the way her father has brought her up, the way her mother has told her the things that, uh, though she belongs to a very poor family, low middle class family, from the people who are very uh, moderate kind of people, but she is a strong girl. Like, I think she is the only strongest character. Like, after Vashma, she is the strongest character. She doesn't want to accept anything bad, or she doesn't want to, she always tell people that, stop it, it's bad, it's not good. So I think she is strong, and but she doesn't know many things, but majorly she is a strong character.
But then the thing is, by the point we get to episode 11, 12 in the drama, we are so invested in Marjabeen's personal growth. She's gone from this girl who is from this poor family, who only got married because she wants to get out of doing her exams, to somebody who we think has real potential to grow, to find her self-worth. And then unfortunately, I felt like from episode 15, 16, up until about episode 24, we saw this really bichari woman, whose husband is not interested in her, whose mother-in-law doesn't think she's good enough to be in the house whilst she has guests over, who's also, and I'll come on to the aspect of sexual harassment in a moment, but I felt like Mahjabeen lost her spark somewhere between episode 15 and 23. Did you see that when you were reading the script, or have you seen that while you're watching the drama?
Yeah, she has been fighting a lot. She has been fighting for her exams. She has been fighting for her friends and her household things and all that. And then finally, she got married, and a good house and all. She has been fighting. At that point of time, she has. I think she has just left everything and
Because
uh,
does Mahjabeen,
come. a little weak. But I think Haroon, she has the priorities. She has marriage was her priority. Keeping a marriage was her priority. But if everything is getting against her, then she can become weak. You know.
Because I think that's why people, I mean, certainly myself, and I know some other people, I didn't enjoy the drama as much from, I'm really enjoying it now, but I didn't enjoy it between episodes maybe 15 and 23 because I felt there was a dip in Mahjabeen's growth and I wanted her to fight back because I was so invested in her journey. And actually, there's a part of me that thinks she is way too good for Abdullah as well. Did you have those thoughts while acting out those scenes?
Yes, when I was doing it, I was like, oh my God, Abdullah is so bad. He's doing so bad to her. But I think from we actually did it like this, that from a very, in the beginning, she's very, very witty. She's making audience laugh and, she's fighting for her things and she's very energetic. And then when she gets married, there's a romance in the screen on the screen, and people loved my chemistry with Bilal, Mahjabeen's and Abdullah's chemistry. They loved it. But right after that, when this point came from 11 to 15, I think that's the point when they did not like that Abdullah is ignoring Mahjabeen and he is, moving towards to another girl. I think that's the reason people did not like or they lose interest in the drama, in
Yeah.
the show. I think this could be the reason. I don't think so that Mahjabeen, particularly Mahjabeen's character was getting weak or,
I think
getting
people
low at
just
the
feel,
point.
from my perspective and from the people I've spoken to, it's just this idea that Marjabeen is actually a very strong woman, as you've mentioned. She is somebody who, in her own, well, actually, she's has the most moral sense out of everybody, which means she knows right from wrong. She's strong and confident enough to be able to, there's no doubt that Abdullah does love Marjabeen from what we see. She's managed to make a place in his heart from the time that they've been married. So from that perspective, she's a very strong woman. But um, to take Abdullah back at this time seems for me like a very weak move. If she does, we don't know if she does at this point. But to take Abdullah back feels weak because he hasn't given you the respect you deserve as a wife. He hasn't told his father or mother to behave with you in a suitable manner. The only person in your in-laws who actually stands up for you is your sister-in-law. And to top it off, from what we understand, because of all of this ordeal, your father's going to die. So it feels like it's one thing after another that happens to Marjabeen, and really she can do so
Abdullah,
much.
Abdullah does not deserve Mahjabeen.
Yes.
that's, that's my personal opinion. But Haroon, she just don't forget it that she belongs to a middle class family, and a woman from a middle class family, by hook or crook, she would like to keep her marriage safe, or and this is what they have been told all their lives. So I think
But do
that's,
you think
from that point of view, Mahjabeen just wants to keep her marriage safe. But Abdullah, and plus Abdullah is a confused person. He is being pressurized from his father, from his stepfather, and from his girlfriend Washma. Yeah, no, 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 not Washma. Shanze.
Sanjay,
Shanze.
yes.
Shanze. So I think he is confused. He's unable to decide, but and he is doing bad with Mahjabeen, like keeping his behavior so bad and very. Even I just don't like this. When we were doing it, I was like, no, this should not be. Abdullah should not get Mahjabeen in the
you
end.
know the thing is, you mentioned that we can't forget that she's from a middle class background. I understand that, but don't you think dramas can make that change in society? For example, if Marjabeen is representative of most middle class women, can dramas not show a change in the end result? If Mahjabeen stands up against a family who have abused her, verbally abused her, mentally abused her for the last 10 episodes, will that not set an example that other women should not take misbehavior?
Yes, but I wonder that how you guys are assuming that Mahjabeen and Abdullah will be together in the end.
Oh, they've got to be together in the end.
How you guys are assuming this? Like, I was reading so many comments and tweets, and people are actually confident about this fact that they'll be together in the end. But for that, you guys have to, keep watching, and you have to wait for the end. I cannot reveal anything right now, but till now, uh, Abdullah is quite, he's being a bad guy with Mahjabeen.
Let's talk about that element of sexual harassment in the show as well, which is that your father-in-law's character, played by Umair Rana, he's very good as server, but he is essentially somebody who has been harassing his daughter-in-law since she's come into the household.
He wants her.
He
He
wants her. He wants.
wants Mahjabeen. He likes her.
He's made it very clear, even before his son married her, that he likes this girl. And
Exactly.
she does not like him. She is not interested in him. And he repeatedly approaches her. He inappropriately confronts her when her husband is not around as well. What was your response to that theme in this drama? And the reason I asked that is because if you remove that theme from this drama, then it is a light romantic comedy. But as soon as you put that theme into this, it becomes far more sinister than just a light-hearted drama, right?
Yes, I think it's a good part because that's not quite common, but it is in our society. The girl who is very naive and a good-looking girl, men like to hit on her. So I believe that this portion makes our drama bit stronger. Otherwise, it would have been a very light comedy thing. Uh, um, I personally think that the major things we have in our show is mm, all the characters, all the actors, they have done a great job, especially Abdullah's and Mahjabeen's chemistry on screen is just so good. Otherwise, the story is just, it's not moving too much. Do
Without
you
without
agree?
that extra angle.
Even with that, it's not moving too much, but the major the significance is the chemistry between characters, especially Abdullah and Mahjabeen. And I would support that aspect of this portion of the story, server's portion. It's actually why not.
I think it's been done sensitively. I think the
I've read people's comments like that it should be a family drama, and what are they showing on screen. But the way it was written, I totally give the credit to the director. He has executed it so beautifully, and so he is such a sensible director we have right now in our industry, Farooq Rin. And I would like to give him the credit because the script was quite bold, and we have just he has handled it so sensibly and nicely, and we just did it. So yeah.
obviously, I've spent over half an hour talking about Pyar Ke Sadqay, which tells you just how invested I am in this drama. And a large part of that is because your performance is so strong that one feels that they are on this journey with Mahjabeen and with Abdullah, because Bilal is excellent as well in this drama. But I have to ask you, when you have an experience like Pyar Ke Sadqay, and I'm sure the filming experience was also unique, does it make all your other work feel mediocre? Does it make everything else feel like, I wish I could get another Pyar Ke Sadke. I wish every script was as solid as this?
No, 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 no. I think that's its significance, that out of 10 or 12 scripts, once I did Ye Raha Dil back in 2017 with Ahmad Ali Akbar, and it was like that, a very light comedy romance, and I loved it. And after 2017, I did Pyar Ke Sadke in 2020, and meanwhile, I did not see. Apart from Suno Chanda, I didn't get to watch such kind of script on screen. So I totally, I feel blessed and fortunate to get such scripts. And ऐसे scripts कम कम ही अच्छे लगते हैं वैसे.
But not just in terms of the light-hearted moments, but as we mentioned earlier, आपने खुद कहा था कि ऐसे scripts बहुत कम मिलते हैं which have such layered characters as well, where the journey of a character from the start to the end is so wholesome. Do you wish that there was, or how do you feel about the writing level in Pakistani dramas as a whole? Do you wish that there was an improvement in any sense?
Of course. Of course, Haroon. I believe it's been 8 years I'm working. And I believe that now, these days, dramas are more about TRPs, they're more about views, and they're more about trendings. So if I look at my initial projects, or the projects I did in my initial working career, I believe that it had more substance and more, it had good more substance. But these days, I had less offers back then. Now I have too many options, but unfortunately, I have to reject many scripts, and then I pick just one. I'm very selective about my script selection. But it all depends on the viewers, it all depends on the people who are out there who watch our dramas, and producer make it accordingly.
What do you think has changed, Yumna? As you mentioned earlier, you had less offers, but the offers were stronger. What do you think has changed? Why is it that, for example, right now I think is a great time for Pakistani dramas. I'm watching about 4 to 5, and they're all excellent. And I know there are other dramas on that are very good as well. Like a Pyar Ke Sadqay is completely different from a Sabat. A Sabat is completely different from a Kashf. A Kashf is completely different from a Ye Dil Mera. Ye Dil Mera is completely different from Dilruba. They're all different. I get it. But why do you think that you've noticed a decrease in quality writing?
I don't know. I think it's the Harun. I think it's the rat race. I think it's the TRPs. It's just that if one subject gets the hype, then they other producers and the writers, they want to make that kind of thing, and they want to repeat it, but they just forget this fact that uh, एक वो एक ही होता है. We cannot copy, and we cannot get the success from out of that. So yeah, I think it's the TRPs. Majorly, it's the TRPs in Pakistan.
Do you think that Pakistani dramas are behaving responsibly as well? Of course, they're watched by
Yes.
millions of people. Do you think they're behaving responsibly?
Not all the dramas, but I think two dramas in a year.
That's
Two
not
dramas.
that's not enough though, is it, Yumna? Only 2 dramas.
Yes, but television, we don't have the responsibility to teach people and to
Not
give.
teach, but I tell you, I'll give you an
People.
example. I'll give you an example. In Pyar Ke Sadqay, your father slaps you in an episode because you've lied about something, and actually that scene could have been just as powerful even without a slap. A slap in society is quite often shown as a mark of action of showing power over a woman, whether that's your daughter or your wife, and actually that does not really, it's not a very responsible thing to do, is it? When you know that there's already a problem in your society where there is a number of domestic violence cases against women, is it really a good idea to put that slap in?
No, no, no. You're right. You're right. But I think he slept just because they wanted to show it that, she should not lie again. And in later in the episodes, when she tells this to Abdullah that his father is not good to her, so I think that was the major reason. But they could have, done it without slapping, because I personally don't like slap, abuse on the screen on television. And you're right about it, totally.
How do you feel then as an actress, as a young actress who's really at the top of her game? As I mentioned, I completely take blame that I wasn't familiar with your work a few years ago. But right now, when I would be asked to name the best actresses in Pakistan, your name would definitely be on that list. So as somebody who has so much influence and power, how do you feel about the way women are represented in Pakistani dramas?
I think, Haroon, drama I think we must make something for the web, for YouTube, shows like Netflix. We must, we're working on our films, but I think mostly of our films are the reflection of Indian cinemas, unfortunately. And we have been, watching Indian cinemas all our lives. So I think audience want to see something new from our culture. So I think apart from dramas, it's really hard to break the rules. I know from the production point of view and from the channel heads and all that, it's really hard to break the rules. But still, we are not doing that bad. We're doing good. But as I just told you, that we are just in the rat race and in the TRP games, that is quite strong. But I think we must make something good for the web, for YouTube, or something, something like Netflix
Is that
shows something.
is that frustrating for you as an actor, Yumna? Like you said, that it feels like the majority of production houses are in a rat race. They need to churn out material because there's so many hours of content to fill as well. And look, Pakistani dramas are recognized internationally. There's huge appetite for them. So is it frustrating for you?
It's actually not frustrating, Harun. I would not say this, that it's frustrating for me, but I believe that I have been so fortunate, the kind of, from my first project till now, I have been so fortunate. I don't know how and why, but all the producers and the directors always chosen me for the unique scripts, for the unique and the versatile. And I don't watch television a lot. I don't watch movies a lot. So I don't know how generally dramas are making. I know what's going on, especially through the social media. I get to watch small clips of all the dramas, and most of them are the typical. Most of them are they're really nice, just like Ye Dil Mera and Kashif. I would like to mention, they're quite different. So it's not frustrating, but like 5 years back, I moved here to US, and I was actually not happy with this idea, and I used to fight with my family that no, I don't want to. I want to go back because I have too many offers. But now I realize that it's good that I'm here, that I'm more particular now. I'm more particular about the script I'm choosing, because once a year I go there and I do 2 projects a year. So
How does it work logistically, Yumna, for you? So you live full time in the US, and do you make sure that your dramas are that everything is in the
on
same
screen,
schedule? How do you do it?
it's actually quite challenging, Haroon, because I did not like this idea initially, because I'm here just because of my family. But later I realized that everything happens for a good reason. So Allah is there. He's a great planner. But I actually have to work so hard for it. I have to read scripts. I have to be on screen as well. Then I have to come here as well. Then I have a house back there in Pakistan. So I have to travel a lot. Like from past many years, 5 years, my life is on wheels. I just go back and forth. I work hard, and you know but I think I somehow like it. I think it shows my passion towards my work. And I think I like this life. I think I'm now used to of it.
I want to talk about your US life again in a moment, but I do want to ask you that Ishq Zain Naseeb was another example of a script that was completely unique to anything else on Pakistani television at the time. I actually think when people think of Yumna Zaidi, up until now, I think they saw you as a bit of an underdog. I think they saw you as the actress who was willing to do the roles that nobody else was because they were experimental or they were challenging. How has it been seeing the way people's reaction to you has changed over the years?
um I've received a very unique and significant kind of feedback from the viewers, from all over the globe, and I appreciate it a lot, Harun. I just feel proud that the kind of work I'm doing, people love it. Even from India, I live here. People come to me from, and they tell me they're from India, and they watch our shows. I feel so good. And I think I would say that I've been very fortunate.
Do
And
you think? Do you,
I've always, you know, I've never focused on my looks, my hair, my face, but I've always focused on my scripts and my characters. I actually love to live their life for like 4 to 3 months. It's actually a great, I can do romance on screen. I'm a very shy person, so no, it's really good. I can, I can be very wild. I can be a little bit seductive. That is so not me. I did Ishq Zahin Naseeb and I was so unsure, and I knew that I have to do. So the director was the same. So
yeah,
I did not want to offend him. I knew I couldn't do this. Samira's Shakra's character in
yeah.
Ishq Zahin Naseeb, because the kind of hands I have, no long nails, and I was quite uncomfortable. But again, Zahid, he's a great performer and he supported me a lot, and I did it and people loved it. And people actually, it was one of, like, it was not on the paper. Shakra was not on the paper. The director and the writer, they actually created that character later on while they
Wow.
were shooting. Yeah. So it was me quite, it was an experience. I learned from it and I enjoyed it, and yeah, people loved it somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they loved it. Ishq Zain Naseeb and your character was loved, widely. And it was around the time that Ishq Zain Naseeb was on TV that I remember seeing Mahira Khan tweet about you, and she tweeted that her khala who was this big
Oh,
drama fan,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
was telling her you must watch Yumna Zaidi. Have you
That
seen?
made my day. That made my Mahira. She's such a generous lady. That tweet made my day. Yeah.
Have you seen the industry's reaction to you change? Like I mentioned to you, I think you were seen as an underdog. Did you ever feel that way? And do you feel like you have arrived at a certain point in the industry where you're taken seriously?
I think, Haroon, that people have always taken me seriously. The production side, the directors and the writers and the producers. But I was not. I believe that I did not get the fame overnight. I was not that famous actor. My journey has been really different, and I like this way. I've actually built the strong foundation quietly, and I loved it. I truly, credit. I truly give credit to myself that I've been working quietly. I did not want to compete with anybody else, with the actress. I did not want to be in the limelight. I just wanted to be, I wanted to do the characters quietly and strongly, and yeah. So I just loved my journey. I know I'm quite unique in the industry. I'm not very commercial, but I like the way I am, and I like the way how people look at me. People from the industry. People from the industry are really kind. I don't have many friends, but they're really kind towards me, and the people outside the industry, my viewers, my fans, I just, I would like to thank them all for giving me so much quality, good feedback, and I feel so proud. Yeah.
You mentioned that you've seen that change in the industry, that the fame hasn't happened overnight. But as you've mentioned in other interviews as well, you don't want your personal life to become the center of attention. But we live in a time and age where social media presence is so important, where having an online profile, an online following is as important as the work you do on TV. Have you struggled to keep up with the demands of social media and being accessible to your fans?
I've actually never thought of on these lines, Harun. My focus has always been my work, and I truly believe that the path of glory is long and it's very difficult. And I like to take challenges in my life. I've always, it was always a task for me to just keep my work life, my personal life balanced, and I always wanted to be known as a very good actress. I did not want anything, any other kind of fame. I
But
don't know. This is
when you're
I'm quite old school person.
right.
Yeah. So
So an old school person doesn't cope with social media very well. I ask about social media because really, as I've mentioned, you are in the A-list category of Pakistani actresses right now. You are among the best that the industry has, and yet I don't see you as active on social media as maybe some actresses who might not be as good as you are. And so, is that something that you're aware of? That if you boosted your social media
No, no,
following,
I am aware of it, and I think I'm fine with it. Yeah. I'm fine with it. Well, I like my social media, I like my following and my fans, and they how they react to my work. So I like this way. I just don't want to be in any kind of race or any kind of competition. I just don't look at people around me, what they are doing. They're doing according to their capacities. And Harun, whatever I think I do according to my capacity. I've always kept my bars quite high, but uh, yes, you're right. I'm not that much active on social media. I just don't do many commercial photo shoots and all that. But yeah, this is how I am, and I think I'm quite comfortable in this zone.
I think you're a real success story for Pakistan because actually you've described yourself as a very underconfident child, as somebody who didn't feel comfortable speaking out and being vocal, and yet you are in a profession which demands for you to be confident. Where did that strength come from?
I actually have no clue, Haroon. I I've always, I always dreamt so high. I was a child with big dreams, but I never shared my dreams with anybody. And my siblings, but I was a character in. There were many characters in me. My friends, my siblings, they used to tell me that Yumna. They used to ask me, Yumna, you should go for the auditions and you should try something for television. And I wanted to do that, but I always thought that I'm a very underconfident person. No one would cast me. And but the people around me gave me the confidence. I remember my first project was with Sabah Kamar, the director Amin Iqbal, the director Kashif Nisar, the actor Numan Ijaz, this director Farooq Rin, Zahid Ahmed. They've always, they've believed in me, and these are the directors and the producers. They've given me so versatile roles. They saw something in me, which which I did not know. But yes, but I've been very fortunate. Uh, mm, um, because I got so good people in my initial days and till now. And yeah.
You
That's
know, as I mentioned, I think you're a huge success story. You mentioned Sabah Qamar's name there. I think what's really interesting is that Pakistani dramas are such a brilliant place because the talent is so exceptional from so many different people. Also, sometimes competition can be healthy. It can make you strive to be even better than you are. Who do you look at in Pakistani television and think, she's really good, he's really good, I want to be able to be that versatile? Who do you look at and feel inspired by?
as far as the versatility is concerned, I would say that there is only one actor which I praise is Noman Ijaz. He is such a tremendous actor. I worked with him when I was doing my third project, and it was Ullu Barai Farokh and I was playing his sister, and he was just so good. And after 5 years, I did Darsi Jati Hai Sila with him, and he is not insecure. He's a school, Harun. I tell you, he is so good. He's so versatile, and really praise him. And in actresses, I really like Sajjal Ali, and I love Sabah Kamar, and they both are tremendous actresses we have right now
Well, let me tell
in
you
our
something.
industry.
Let me
Mhm.
tell you something. For me, Sajid Ali and Sabah Qamar are the best actresses right now that are working on Pakistani television. But since watching Pyar Ke Sadqay, Yumna Zaidi is part of that group of actresses as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
If you enjoyed this, like and subscribe, and click the bell icon to keep up to date. For more great audio and video from the BBC, listen on Sounds, watch on iPlayer.